All right. Hey, everybody. How are ya? Welcome in. If you are here because of the title, which I don't know what it is yet, this reading is definitely for you. Some of it may resonate. All of it may resonate, but whatever. Just take what resonates for you and leave what doesn't. I just saw the Saturn card. We do have Saturn back in Pisces now, and we are in a preparation phase for next year for a brand new reveal. So I'll be talking about the fall's astrology a little bit more than I have been in the coming week. Okay, coming weeks, actually. So let's see where we're going today. If you're here because of the title, what wants to show up for you today? All right, magic underneath. I'm going to take this new life and I'm going to take this message. There's the Saturn cards. No wonder. Soulmate. This is coming through a lot these days. Earth and air. Okay, so this reminds me of this week. I kept getting the Ace of Pentacles. I was getting the Ace of Wands, not the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords did eventually make an appearance in the reading, but it was like kind of late in the reading. So I'm going to say to you that there is an opportunity for a legitimate connection right now, a very strong connection. And all right, I reached for that. I'm going to take that. This might be a very important person coming in, and there's going to be a lot of conversation. So I don't know if this is a new person or a former person, but I am getting that there's something really like legit about it. Legit, really? Something really grounding. That's a better word. Something really grounding about it. And we just had Mars opposite Pluto a couple of days ago. So there might have been a sudden upsurge in like, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm extricating myself from the bonds of power, right? Pluto's about power. Mars is in opposition, kind of like a little personal uprising that says, you know, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to stop doing this and I'm going to go in that direction. Some kind of personal, I don't know, upheaval's like very much the wrong word, but an upsurge. I'm just getting this like, I've got to do it, or I've got to stop doing it. Something like that. All right. The Sun card, the Nine of Wands. Right, there you go. The Moon. I get the Emperor quite a lot these days. And then the Knight of Wands. Oh, and here's the Empress. This does feel to me like Venus has been held back in Swords, in the way Divine Feminine has been thinking about things, or actually breaking free of thinking about things. And it's because of, you know, the eclipse that we just went through. They were super duper powerful. So that Virgo 29-degree eclipse was a closing, sort of a closing action. And now there's like fire to go in a different direction. Here's Leo energy, Sag, Aries. And we've got this Taurus and Libra energy with the Eight of Swords. And so that really tells me that the Divine Feminine is kind of breaking free of a closed mindset of things like how they have always been or how they have to be. So you might be breaking free of a pattern, a way of doing things in your life. You may be breaking free of a person, some kind of power dynamic, okay, that you're now asserting your own power. And I feel like this has been coming for a long time. The Moon at 29 degrees of Virgo really, I feel like close the door on oppression, on some kind of oppression, and open the door for a new kind of freedom. Like that. All right. Knight of Swords coming in. This is the Six of Wands. The Four of Swords. Nine of Pentacles. Good. Some self-confidence here. The Taurus energy of the Hierophant. Like standing up to an old institution or standing up to someone who thinks they have power or who like keeps score, because you'll notice in this picture, the Taurus energy is like, it's almost like Santa's book of like, he knows when you're sleeping and he knows when you're awake, right? Kind of a thing like that, like keeping score. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Like that's, somebody is keeping score. They're watching you and they're keeping score. I feel like a lot of what's motivated you lately, if you're resonating with this, is the feeling of I'm taking my power back. So people are taking their power back. Maybe thinking that you couldn't do that, but you can. 6 of Wands, victory. And then the healing energy of the 4 of Swords. So getting some self-confidence. I like that. And kind of going up against anybody who is, I don't know if you have anybody in your life like that who's a scorekeeper, who kind of pays attention to things and tries to balance the scales. Like if you do something and it may have nothing to do with them, but they want to make sure that everything is even Steven, right? Like sometimes, you can go out with a friend and you pay the bill or you pick up, the tab or whatever it is. And like the very next time they're there picking up the tab. And it's like, you don't have to do that. Like I was doing that because I just wanted to. Like you don't have to even the score. Okay. There's something like that going on here. 7 of Wands and the 4 of Wands and the 3 of Pentacles. So this is very, it's interesting. The 2 major arcana cards here are about balance and structure and what keeps us safe. And then how do we move forward if we're keeping score, or how do we move forward if we're stuck in this kind of scorekeeping, this kind of tit for tat kind of quality. Like how can we, and it very much feels that way. It doesn't feel like the good energy of like reciprocal stuff that just flows. It feels very much like a scorekeeping, or someone who is marking down any kind of slight against them, and they are like, they're going to come after you or they're going to do something. Anybody who's really in that energy, I feel like that's an old energy, a waning energy, something that's closing up. Okay. Something that's closing up. Next year, I am going to be doing a whole class about 2026 and what to look for in the astrology, how to use it for your best and highest good. You can find the link in the description box below. And early in the year, we have this Aquarian, a stellium, a lot of planets in Aquarius, and including Pluto, which is about power. And by the time that's in January, by the time we get to February, where Saturn and Neptune are like opening up a new chapter, the Aquarian mind piece in January really says that we're kind of thinking about how to structure or how to anchor our lives moving forward and getting rid of this scorekeeping stuff. More like it's not us versus them. It's going to be a collective decision. So you can look at that in your own life and be like, well, there needs to be some kind of collective agreement about how we're moving forward without this always being a tit for tat kind of a situation. Like I'm tired of having people watching me, or tired of having people write down whenever I say something wrong, and they're going to correct me and they're going to make, you know what I mean? Like there's that energy to it. And I feel like it comes to some kind of head here with this 7 of Wands. So you can imagine that if you're dealing with a closing up of a situation right now, there's going to be a brand new, beautiful situation coming in, this 3 of Pentacles and this 4 of Wands, that is much more easy and flowing and nice and generous and all of that. But this has to close up first. And I feel like it's in your life because that has been the old way of doing things. All right. The old way of doing things of, I can't let you get anything over on me But see what I mean? It's like coming from a perspective of not sharing or generosity. It's coming from a perspective of, I've got to make sure the books are balanced. All right. I've got to make sure that I'm not beholden to anybody or something like that. So I just got this Page of Swords coming out, and I'm looking right at the message card. There is a message. Let's follow that up. What's the message that wants to come through right now? Knight of Cups, Page of Cups. Wow. Fool, brand new day, and the Six of Pentacles. Very, very balanced. Awesome. So balanced in a different way than this is. Balanced in a different way. Remember what I said about I'm keeping score versus like, okay, there's cups being offered. Cups of, I'm sorry. Cups of, hey, this feels good to me. There's definitely something there so we can get on a new footing. All right. There's a brand new path that is balanced without scorekeeping. This feels petty and small and stubborn and not good. That feels not good to me. And it's possible that you're closing up that chapter now and moving on from that with that Chariot, the healing energy here. I like this. I feel like you've won. Six of Wands. That's what's getting at this person or these people. Like, it is a little bit about living well as the best revenge. You're not doing anything to this person. You're just living your life. You're just doing good stuff. And this person is like, ooh, if I get a chance to say this, I'm going to say this. If I'm going to, right? There's just this small pettiness to it. Tower. Two of Cups. The Lovers. And the Hermit. So you have learned. I feel like that's blowing up. That's going to blow up at some point where the chasm will be so great. I don't necessarily think that this person's going to come back around to you. I feel like you raise the foundation of this, like the closing chapter of this, really a lot of upheaval and a lot of destroying the foundation has happened or is happening right now in this kind of waning phase. The Mars opposite Pluto and the closing days of September. And we'll be looking at October very soon. But there's definitely something here that says you're making better choices now, because we have the Two of Cups, which is a choice card, the Lovers card, which is a choice card. So some of you are stepping away from an old pattern. It doesn't have to be the exact pattern that I was talking about, but that feels very narcissistic to me. Some of you are stepping away from really toxic partners with wisdom. All right, got to get it so it's no glare. Can I do it? And I feel like there's people who kind of call you out on it a little bit, but you're like, that's not my circus. That's not my monkeys. Not doing that. Not doing that anymore. I'm going in a direction of happiness and love and joy. I'm not going to be in this power game anymore. All right. So there can be, what's this? The Star, Aquarian energy. So remember I was talking about at the beginning of the year about the Aquarian mind, the Aquarian stellium, lots of planets in Aquarius. So that's really when like the new path. So what's happening this fall? This feels like a big reading to me. This, I feel like this fall is the Tower. This is the ending of an old foundation, an upheaval that you no longer, everything has been brought, okay, thank you. Everything has been brought conscious about this pattern. The things that have gotten you into those situations, dealing with these kind of people, has all been brought to the conscious level, which is why you can have a new day, a new beginning, a new path, and something that's much more balanced. I see a love relationship coming in. Gemini, Cancer, Virgo. Gemini, Cancer, Virgo. Like, right? You've broken out of this old mindset. Definitely breaking out of an old mindset. Five of Wands. Yeah, there's some people who don't want you to do this. Queen of Swords, Six of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. Love that. Okay. So this says to me that this tower feels like a good tower, right? This tower feels like the kind of tower that strikes down old habits that have been holding you back, that have not been bringing happiness, that have been making things very challenging, or at least very unhealed, or keeping people in your life that are toxic. All right. I'm going to keep going with this. Let's see what you don't see coming. I'm going to look at the soulmate card and also this love relationship that's coming in. If this is your reading, it's time to shift out of this very old pattern and look to the future. All right. Link is below if this is for you. I'll see you over there. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.